Ariarne is a highly decorated Australian swimmer, known for her success in freestyle events. She's won multiple gold medals at the Olympics, Commonwealth Games and World Championships, and holds several world records. She's the reigning Olympic world champion in the women's 400 metres freestyle, having won the event at the 2020 and 24 Summer Olympics, and is widely considered one of the greatest middle distance swimmers of all time. So please invite Ariarne to the stage.
Thanks, Pete.
Welcome, Ariarne.
Thanks for having me. Tough act to follow from Chris.
Indeed. 40 years ago, I met Ariarne's dad, Steve. We were working in Adelaide together, and we've been the best of mates ever since. And after the Olympics last year in Paris, Ariarne came and stayed with us for a night and talked to my beautiful daughters about life, which was fantastic. And we went for a walk around South Head, and I was building up the courage, and I did. I said, Ariarne, I'm part of this charity called Dreams to Live For, and no one's ever said no to me when I've asked them for an interview. I've had Katie Page and Jerry Harvey, I've had Alan Joyce, we've had the Australians of the Year, we've had a mighty roll call of people. She said, I'll be there. I hadn't even given her the date. She said, I'll be there. So we're very grateful. 4 gold medals, 3 silver medals, 1 bronze medal, that's just the Olympics. It's a heck of a roll call. But where to start on your mighty story? And it is a mighty story. So I thought we'll get into your head and get into the race. Take us to the marshalling room, Paris Olympics, the biggest race in terms of headlines around the world, the 400 metre final against the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Katie Ledecky. What is it like in that room?
Well, it depends if we're talking about the heat or the final. The heats now are pretty relaxed. Have a little conversation with, say, Katie, how's your accommodation? Oh, the food's crap, stuff like that. But then when it comes to the finals, it's the most intense environment you'll ever be in your life. They sit you in chairs where your shoulders touch, and all you really hear is breathing, or maybe a cough, or someone slapping themselves ready to go. But the best part is when you get asked to walk out to behind where you see everyone walk out when the number's called, and you see how people react to that situation. Some girls like to stand way back so they can't see the crowd, can't see anything, just like to be in their own little space. When I go out there, I purposely walk right to the front of the queue and I peep my head out to look at the crowd and just go, this is great. And then basically you get this incredible ball of adrenaline and this free energy, and I just soak it all in. And then when I walk out, it's almost like the most still you can ever be in your life, and you just have trained so hard, you know what to do, and it just, off you go.
How do you stop comparison thoughts and stay in your own mental lane though, when you've got Katie Ledecky next to you and the pressure of Australia on your shoulders?
It's definitely changed over the years. Early on in my career, when I first started racing Katie, I knew that I had to beat her if I wanted to win. She was the benchmark, so I tried to race the way that she raced, and once I kind of got my head around that, I figured out what I was actually good at. And I believe I've trained in a way, physically and mentally, to the point where I stand behind the blocks and I say to myself, my best is world's best. So the only way you're going to beat me today is if you're world's best. And the great Ian Thorpe told me something one day which I'll never forget, and I say it to myself before every race. And he said to me, no, I made my first Australian team as a 16-year-old. He said, remember, they have to beat you. You don't have to beat them, they have to beat you. And I say that to myself before every race. So you girls are going to have one hell of a race if you want to beat me. And that's the mindset I like to have.
Different pressure though from Tokyo, which was in 2021 because of COVID, when you came up against Katie, and the weight of the nation wasn't on your shoulders, was it?
Yeah, very, very different mindset. And it's funny the role that the media play. In the lead up to Tokyo, I was absolutely the underdog, and I tried to craft that narrative and said all the time, you know, Katie's the GOAT, Katie's the GOAT. But I well and truly believed in my heart that I had done enough to win. I went into that race believing I had the chance to win. But it was a different expectation on myself and a different expectation from others. For me, it was the first chance I'd ever have to win Olympic gold medal. And if it didn't happen, then I knew I had other opportunities. Whereas going into Paris, I had been undefeated in the event for 6 years. I was expected to win, and it is an incredible weight to have on your shoulders. And I think it's something that can really make or break you. But I tried to change the narrative and turn it into a positive and realize, hey, you know what? Most of these people are just wanting to watch me do something great for myself and our country, and it's not coming from an ill-hearted place. And so I also create these expectations for myself that are actually greater than what the general public expect of me, and just lean on that. And in Paris, although I was expected to defend my title, I just kept saying to myself, I got a little bird tattoo on my wrist. And I say to myself, you're free like a bird, because regardless if it happens or not again, you've already done it. You're already Olympic champion for life. And so that's what I told myself.
And just looking at your foot, what's the last thing you see when you leave the blocks?
I got tattooed on my right foot because that's the foot, my toes go over the edge of the block, and it's the last thing I see. And I got fearless tattooed there. So I believe not just when I race, but in life, I think that it's a powerful thing to be fearless. Don't be afraid of challenge. Don't be afraid of what's next. Go for it, and you never know what might happen.
8 laps in a 400 metres. We're in Paris. How do you know where Katie is? How do you gauge where you are in the race? Because we're all watching at home, wondering that and saying, she's just there, she's just there. How do you know?
It's an incredible thing in the water. You can feel the wash around you. Katie, luckily for me in Paris, actually dropped off at about the halfway mark. So it was Summer McIntosh, this incredible Canadian swimmer, that was right on my heel in Paris. And you see them when you breathe, but it's funny as you grow as an athlete. When I was racing Katie in Tokyo, I was well behind at the halfway point. And I guess I still believed in myself that I had enough juice to get back. And I didn't change my race plan because of how she raced. I trusted the fact that I could go out a bit slower and reel her back in. Whereas in Paris, I knew that the goal was to win. It wasn't to set this incredible time. So I almost played a bit of cat and mouse with them. So I held back a little bit, went out too hard, pulled it in, tried to give them a little bit of hope, and then kicked on a bit more.
I think in my 60 Minutes profile with you, you talked about your arse jets.
Yeah, it's a wonderful feeling on the last turn when you know you're going to win Olympic gold and you get this rush of energy. And I said to you, Pete, it's like I've got jets out my arse. And so it's like your legs just come back. It's like you haven't even swum 7 laps.
And who do you find when you touch the wall, you know you've won gold? Do you find Mum and Dad, Steve and Robin, in the stands, and Mia, your beautiful sister? Do you see them first? What do you see?
Well, I can't really remember. Like, it's so hard to remember. I look at the scoreboard, see my actually, I'll tell you the first thing I do, which I would encourage any little swimmer or anyone in sport to do. Ever since I was a little girl, when I touch the wall, before I look at the time or anything, I say to myself, yep, that's the absolute best I had today. And then I turn around and then look at the scoreboard, and no matter the result, I know that I gave my best. And then I look for my coach, my crazy coach.
More on that later.
I saw my family in Paris, very lucky they had front row tickets on the right at the side of the 50-metre pool in Paris. Always congratulate my competitors because I know how tough it is to get to this level, and just really soak it all in because you never ever know if it's ever going to happen again.
What is it like to swim fast?
It is the most blissful feeling in the world. It's like nothing else. Running, yeah, you can isolate yourself, but swimming, all you can hear is the sound of the water. And to have an incredible freedom and buoyancy in the water and actually be moving as fast as people run through the water is an incredible feeling, and it takes a lot of work to get to that level, but it feels very nice to be one with the water when your hand enters and it just goes where it's supposed to go. It's very hard to describe.
As I said, you're a mighty story, Ariarne, and to get to be one of the greatest middle distance swimmers of all time, to defend an Olympic 400 metres title. I think Dawn Fraser's the only other person in that category in this country. It really began the moment you were born, and again on that 60 Minutes story, your mum and dad gave me some video of your opening seconds and your fight for life. and that was very confronting. Your mum says that's when you became a warrior. Do you agree with your mum?
I do. I believe that mental strength and resilience is something that you can absolutely craft, and you can, work at it and get great at it. But I truly believe in my case that I was born with this competitive edge and this will to win and I guess survive when I was a baby. And I believe it's my biggest strength as an athlete. I never thought I was the most talented swimmer. I've worked incredibly hard, but I believe that my capacity and my mindset is why I've had the success that I've had. And I've never spoken to a sports psych in my life. I just draw on my own feelings and thoughts and somehow channel and internalize all the pressure and emotion and turn it into a will to race and compete, and a will to, I guess, as my coach calls it, pass the barrier of pain in training where not many people can get to, and you enjoy that feeling. I believe that that's something that I was born with, and I've seen it in a few other people, but I truly believe it's innately in you.
When did the Olympic flame start to burn for you that I want to do that, I want to be an Olympic swimmer? Because you, for goodness sake, you grew up in Launceston, Tasmania, which is not a renowned production line for Olympic champions.
Especially not in the pool.
No,
I remember watching the Beijing Olympics in 2008, and I was just about to turn 8 years old, and Stephanie Rice won 3 gold medals, Libby Trickett, the great Michael Phelps won 8 gold medals, and I just remember watching and thinking, how great is this? And I started swimming down the road in my swimming club literally a week after. I said to Dad, can you please sign me up down the road? There was a little 33-metre outdoor pool in this suburb called Riverside in Launceston. And I started swimming there. And you know what? I believe that the naivety to how hard it is to become Olympic champion is what put me in good stead, because I wasn't afraid of how hard it was going to be. I wasn't afraid of the decisions in life I'd have to make to enable this to happen, but I just loved it, and I loved everything that swimming brought, the friendships, the routine, the passion for the sport, and I just kept on going.
But you weren't doing this in an elite program in an indoor 50-metre pool. You were paying your entry fee twice a day and dodging Ma and Pa kettle, weren't you, in the public pool?
Well, for a period of time. So
Yeah.
I, at 13 years old, became national champion for the first time. This young Tassie kid who no one knew and I wasn't supposed to win. And my coach at the time left and basically explained to my mum and dad, my mum was the president of the club at the time, this isn't a conducive environment for competitive swimming. No one here wants to work hard, they're all here to socialise, and that's great, but not for kids that actually want to really take this and do something with it. So we didn't really have a coach at the time. The other athletes in the squad were rocking up half the time, cutting laps, and even as a 13-year-old, it just grinded my gears. Like, being a try-hard is cool, and I just, So I said to Mum and Dad, I can't train there. It's not hard enough. So I turned 14, and my previous coach was in Queensland. I said to him, can you please text me sessions for the morning and the evening? And Dad dropped me to the pool in the morning, and I went in and did my 7K on my own around the oldies, no coach, no timing, nothing. Went to school, caught the bus back to the pool and did the same thing in the evening for 3 months until we had sorted out everything to move to Queensland to be reunited with my coach at the time. And I truly believe that it was that spark in my eye, or that resilience and determination that I had that gave Mum and Dad the confidence to pack up everything and leave. I was never trying to demonstrate that this is why we should leave, but I just loved it and I wanted it so bad, and I guess that's what gave them the belief to make the move.
So that was, I think, when you were 14. Your mum was a senior executive at Boral. Your dad had a great job as a newsreader in Tasmania. Mia, your younger sister, was at school. You're at school. Heck of a family conversation to say, we are going to give all of this up and go and move to Queensland where the best coaches are. Did you feel the pressure of the decision that if I don't deliver, if I don't perform, then what have I done to my family? No,
because for anyone that knows my mum and dad, they just love life, and my dad's favourite saying is, you regret the things in life that you didn't do, not what you did do. And so they just wanted to give me this opportunity, and rather than make the storyline by moving to Queensland for Ariarne swimming, for one, it was to protect my sister and not make her think that this wasn't for her either. But it was more so, we've always wanted to move to the mainland. It's a sea change. We're going to go and live where it's sunny. And they kind of masked the reason. And I never once ever had said to me by my mum and dad that you have to make it, or you have to do this, or you have to swim. Not once ever in my career. And I truly believe that's why I've been successful, because they just wanted to give me the opportunity and make the decision if I wanted to chase it or not. And regardless, they've got a wonderful life in Queensland now. But it wasn't easy. My mum and dad so in love and have never spent any time apart, and they had to spend 6 months apart. We were living in a little 1-bedroom apartment. I was sleeping on my first bed that I ever got as a 1-year-old. My sister was sleeping on a double mattress with my mum. We had no TV, no Wi-Fi, all while going to the most prestigious girls' school in Brisbane, and making us look like we had this magnificent life, but it really wasn't, and it was all for my swimming career. And you look back now and what my mum and dad did and what they sacrificed for me, I just will never be able to repay it.
They're amazing humans. They really are. How did you come across Dean Boxall?
Well, quite a story. My first Australian team, Dean was a coach of another group of athletes. And I remember he gave us, it was Youth Commonwealth Games 2015, and he gave us this crazy speech about how we're going to beat the Kiwis and they just want to be like us and blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking, like, this guy's so nuts. I am never going to be coached by him. And then lo and behold, a year later, my coach at the time had no lane space and I needed somewhere to go. And Dean worked under Michael Boll, who's a legend of Australian swimming coaching. And my coach at the time was very good friends with Bolly and said, look, I think Arnie should really go to Dean. He's got the best age group program in the country. I think she'd thrive in that environment. And so I remember saying to my mum, absolutely not. Anyway, I thought, whatever, I'll go and meet him and see what he has to say. And literally, Mum and I went in the middle of a school day, met him at his office at St. Peter's, and within 15 minutes, I said to Mum, I'm going there, because his passion and value and just love for the sport is infectious, and his work ethic aligned completely with mine. And I've never seen anyone that's so passionate about what they do and passionate about making his dream help others achieve their dreams. And he's never done a coaching course in his life. It's all intuition, he makes it all up himself, and he's just, I believe, the best swimming coach in the world, and has the incredible ability to tap into different personalities and get the best out of people. And within the first week, he had well and truly found the key to me. And we just clicked. Our personalities meshed, and our relationship as coach and athlete. But then as I've gotten older, our friendship has just really grown, and the trust is, I think, why we've had the success as a partnership.
And I think when he got you, you were about 28 metres behind the best time in the world. 28 metres is more than half an Olympic pool. And you described about he had the key, and he describes his athletes as a door, and he unlocked you.
Yeah.
So what did he find in you to make you the champion you are today? What did he unlock?
So there's a good story. The first training session that Dean ever watched me do was when I was 15 in this training camp where I met him and said that he was never going to be my coach. And I was training alongside 3 18-year-old guys, and it was me and another girl who was 16. And it was a tough session, and I should have never been able to hit the times. But I ended up surpassing all 3 18-year-old boys who tapped out. And Dean said to me, I saw it in you then. And I just had this thing, I know in myself that my strength is my doggedness in training. I just love training, I love the pursuit, and I love being pushed harder. And he kind of found this way where I thrive through critique. I think one of the most coachable attributes is being able to take critique. And so I feel like when I take critique and get told that I can do this better, this better, this better, it makes me want to almost prove it to him. Rather than being told every single day I'm doing a great job, I guess he believes that would make me complacent, and it has in the past. We've tried both. So I just swim better when I'm put under that pressure. And he did it in a way with a trust that I just knew that he believes in me more than anyone in the world. And we did this deal. I said to him, I'll train as hard as I possibly can if you provide me with the best program in the world and deliver it in a way that you are going to get the best out of me. And we do a little handshake. And so on the tough days when he's been hard on me, I just know in the back of my mind it's because he believes in me.
But it can be an abrasive delivery. It's, you know, and for a lot of people that's like, no, that's not right in this world we live in. But it works for you. As you say, you don't do compliments. And I remember your father saying, if it works for Arnie, then we're fine as parents with that.
Yeah. I remember there's one girl I swim with, and she said to Dean, we did the same event, so she said to Dean, can you please treat me like Arnie? Please, I just want to like see how I go. And so we did one session and she's getting the same feedback as I am. And it's things like I'll be training in the squad and I'll be absolutely killing it. And I get nothing. And there's someone next to me who's like, oh, half par, getting all the good jobs, all the rays of sunshine. Anyway, this one girl got the delivery that I got. And after that one session, she said to Dean, can you please go back to the other way? But I do have, if we have time, Pete, I have an incredible story that kind of like encapsulates why it is that way. And Dean and I came up with two standards. We have outstanding, and that's if I do everything perfectly right, everything to the letter, and then dog shit. So World Championships 2019, I had never been world champion before, and Katie Ledecky had never been beaten ever. And I was the first person to beat her, and I became world champion in the 400 freestyle for the first time. And it was really big news in the swimming world that the GOAT had been taken down. And I remember I was in the press conference after the race, and I did a 1.5 second PB, but I remember clearly one of the turns wasn't quite right. I took a double breath, so lack of concentration. And I was in the press conference and I'm getting all these accolades, like blah, blah, blah. And Dean walks into the back of the room and stands at the back with the cameraman and just starts mouthing to me, dog shit, dog shit. And at the time I was like, what the hell, man? But I realized the following year was supposed to be the Tokyo Olympics, and I had just awoken the tiger. Ledecky had just been beaten. And if I was going to rest on my laurels and get it encapsulated in all the hoo-ha of becoming world champion, I would never have won.
Tokyo Olympics, what was your reaction when you saw old mate Dean absolutely go burko? And I'll never forget that poor Japanese lady with her face mask going, like, what is this creature from outer space doing?
Well,
Is that a release for him?
It was a release because he would tell me that in the lead up to the Olympics, he'd wake up in the middle of the night and his wife would be like, what are you doing? And he goes, I have an idea. And so the pursuit was all encapsulating. And so for it to finally happen, the release, just for him, he couldn't control. And if you know Dean personally, he actually really, as hard as it is to believe, he actually hates the limelight. And so I knew that he was not doing that to get all the attention, and just absolute release. And I remember I give myself a social media ban when I'm competing, and I thought to myself, oh, what am I going to do in between heats and finals when I go back to the village and I'm just trying to pass my time. And the team manager said to me, Arnie, look up Dean on Google. And I just sat there for an hour watching all the new GIFs that were coming through. So many funny ones. It was so good. But I'm so glad that he got a part of the recognition as well, because he absolutely poured his life into those gold medals as well.
What is the power of an Olympic gold medal? You've got 4 of them. Do you touch them? Do you look at them? Do you think, wow, this is a heck of a thing?
It's really funny you say that, Pete, because when you're in it, everything becomes relative in your life. And as a 14-year-old, winning the national age title was my Olympic gold medal. And that was the biggest thing in my life. And as you move through your career, things just suddenly become relative to you in your life. And for me, it was it was in my grasp to become Olympic champion, and it was a realistic goal for me. And so when it happens, you don't actually realise the enormity of it until a lot later on. And it's actually been in the past 12 months that I have taken time away from swimming that I've actually laid out all my Olympic medals for the first time ever in my life on my couch and just looked at them. And you don't look at the medal and think, wow, what a beautiful medal. You look at it and you can see through it everything that you did to achieve it. And I sit here now and talk about all these great stories and how fun it all was, but it's really tough. It's really, really tough. And it's not an easy thing to become Olympic champion, but I'm so proud of what I've been able to do. And becoming an Olympic champion hasn't just, made me feel satisfied in myself as an athlete, but that one gold medal, whether it's 1 or 4, opens up so many other doors in your life, which you get introduced to the most incredible people. You get supported by incredible people like Katie and Jerry here and Harvey Norman, who have backed me since I was before Olympic champion. And it's just amazing the people that you get to meet because of it.
Katie said to me that, and it's on the record on that 60 Minutes story, that you will be a future leader in this country. What are your aspirations beyond swimming?
Well, at the moment, I'm just trying to live a little bit of life in this break that I have. For people that don't realise, I've never actually sat down with my mum and dad during the middle of the week and had dinner and had a glass of wine. So it's been very nice to do that. But I feel like I have weight to my voice now. I feel like what I say is respected, and I feel confident enough to speak up about things that I'm passionate about. I love speaking, so I've been doing a lot of keynoting about my life and trying to help people believe in themselves. I'm a little kid from Tassie who should have never become Olympic champion, but I never saw it as a barrier. And so it's about helping people realise that they have that in them as well. I love working in TV. Done a bit of work with Channel 9 over the past few years, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
I've still got the school fees to pay, so if you could just hold off on my job, that's all right.
But I also now have time in this break to actually make a real difference. So being here today, I do work with the Queensland Children's Hospital in Brisbane and the foundation there. And just like this charity, the foundation are all privately funded to treat little kids that are very sick. And so being able to just not spread myself too thin, but try and make a difference as much as I can with my voice and name is really important.
As we come to the finish of this interview, just some quick hits. Drug testing. You told me about this. You came and stayed with us, and the drug testers knew where you were at our address in the suburb we live in.
Yeah.
That's how you live your life, isn't it?
Yeah, I tell you what, it was a very awkward conversation with my now partner the first night I stayed at his house, and said, can you just give me your address so I can put it into my drug testing so they know I'm here? So yeah, every night of my life since I was 16 years old, they know where I sleep. They've got an hour every day to rock up if they would like. Blood or urine, I've probably been tested over 200 times in my life. Had my first drug test where a woman watched me wee at 12. And that's just the nature of clean sport, which I think is really important. And I could go down a whole other tangent here, Pete, with what's going on with everything else, but we'll just leave it there.
But honestly, the drug testers could have come to our house that night. You couldn't go to the loo, so we all would have sat on the couch, wouldn't we, and watched the telly, because they have to keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
Crazy. What about diet? I remember you've got a diet app as well. When you're in heavy training, you've got to send photographs of your food.
Photographs of the food, not to lose weight, but keep my weight on. So training so much, I used to wear like a tracker. I was burning 7,000 calories in a day. So to keep the weight on, you got to eat a lot. So making sure my dietitian, it was really hard to keep it on. So making sure I was eating enough. I don't have that problem at the moment while I'm not training.
Have you been back in the pool since Paris?
I have. I've been back in a few times. It's incredible how quickly you lose it. And you know what? It's been so great. I have not gone and swum at my club or at a QAS or VIS. I've paid public fee entry to just a public pool and put on a cap inside out so no one knows who I am, and just go for a little swim.
You still love it?
Yeah, I'll always love the feel for the water, and I love racing for our country, and I feel a massive sense of pride to do that.
Los Angeles, Brisbane, do you think about them? Could you swim on?
I think
Will
about,
you swim on?
I think about LA. Brisbane, I'll be 32. That's ancient in swimming years. I mean, never say never, but we'll see how we go.
I know you're in love. Lucky Mac.
Yes.
And it's been a joy to see, and that's a big part of your life now too, isn't it? And what he's brought and his family's brought to you.
Yeah.
It's out of the pool. It's a whole new world.
Yeah, since the Olympics, my life's definitely changed, but the best part about it is that my partner didn't even know who I was. So
That is cool.
we met a month after the Olympics, and he said the only thing he watched was 1 hour of equestrian. And so, yeah, he loves me for me, which is great.
Who inspires you in and out of the pool?
In the pool, I'm inspired by my biggest rival, Katie Ledecky. She, as much as she's been my biggest competitor, I could look at her in a different light, but I truly believe she is an incredible athlete, and she's just swum her fastest time in 9 years at 28 years old, which is incredible in the 400, 800 freestyle. And then out of the pool, my mum and dad are both my inspirations, but my mum, I've never seen a woman with such fight and killer instinct, but with such a kind heart. And so, yeah, my mum.
Thank you for today. You are a legend as a swimmer, but as a human being. And it's been lovely to watch you grow up from a little girl to sit here, oh, I'm getting teary, and interview you today. Thank you. You've got to go back to Brisbane now on a plane, but thank you for opening your heart to Dreams to Live For and our 500 guests. Ariarne Titmus, ladies and gentlemen.